It's good to be going our second week of spring ball. The players are still enthused. The first practice, they got the jitters because we haven't gone 11 on 11 and pads for almost a year. So it's going well. It's going well. The guys got excited. They're like to be out there and running around.
All right. Anybody have, if anybody has any questions, just raise your hand. Mike, lead us off.
What's up, Mike?
Hey, Lou.
Yes, sir.
Well, how are you as a coaching staff keeping these guys kind of in the moment? Because it is just spring practice. This is the second one in a row they've gone through without playing games in between. Is that difficult to do? How do you do it?
That's a really good question. Since we come back for summer practice, you had the uncertainty, but the kids, our head coach and the kids were focused. And when I say that is like during the meetings, the virtual meetings, you have to give them credit. They're wired in, act like it's person to person. They got your notepads. You have all the access of watching practice tapes. We have digital, look at the playbook. We have cards. So all this different stuff, we're virtual, but yet we're not touching each other, but on the screen, and they're engaging, and they know what the main goal is. And they just kept on looking for it. Keep on working hard, and we'll get through this. And that's where we're at right now is, okay, we didn't play this past year. Now we're focused on spring ball. Hey, let's look how the offense is attacking us. Let's see how I get better during the individual period. Hey, how we get better during each period. What the theme is. Could be third down, first and second down.
Yeah, just to follow up to that, we just talked to Lowell and Jackson, and they sounded like they were a lot more informed about what they're supposed to do as guys on defense now, just from having this extra time to kind of study this defense and be around you more. Do you sense that with players, and can you see that might be something that will really produce results for you?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think they're coaching me. I'm not coaching them. That's just a joke. But no, they're awesome. We have all this time. So, you talk about how the pieces to the puzzles. We're in the past where, hey, you have to get the players ready to go. Know their job and, who affects their jobs. But now we got all this time to talk about, okay, this is how the offense is attacking us. Now this is how we're calling this defense. And this is what each player has to do to be sound and also to be effective, to create turnovers, and get more possessions for our offense.
Sean McFarland, go ahead.
All right, Sean. Hello, Sean.
Hey, Lou. We just talked with Jackson. He kind of said that this past, fall was good for him to, gain a little physical strength, understand the playbook a little better, understand the schemes a little better. Just wondering what you've seen out of him, this past year since last spring ball and the, developments he's made after a pretty good freshman season.
Yeah, that's a real good. Well, you guys got a lot of good questions today. This is nice, guys. It's good to see you. Hey, that's one. First and foremost, how Jackson matured and evolved as a football player and also as a student athlete, and then the time commitment that he's doing off season training, and also he's getting his leadership skills. He's being vocal, lead by example, and now we can talk where in the past. He didn't understand the concepts and grasp them because he was young and playing early. Like what I said earlier on with Mike, is you have to get him ready. But now he sees what we're talking about. And then we're at the level now where if we see a formation, I say, all right, Jackson, tell me what am I thinking? Oh, you got to make this check, or, hey, we got to play this. We got to key here or here or here. So you see him evolving to a student of the game.
I'd imagine the jump from freshman year to sophomore year is huge for college athletes. I'm just wondering what you think the impact this past offseason has on a guy like Jackson who again, played pretty well as a freshman, but I'd imagine there's a bigger leap to that sophomore year after that, a year in the system. How big was spending a whole fall really just focused on development? How do you think that's going to impact someone like him?
Yeah, hopefully, he was productive. Hopefully, bottom line is us winning games, us making critical stops on defense, and also him making his plays to make. So to answer that question, Sean, I'm going to answer a question with a question. Is hopefully we see during the rest couple of weeks of spring practice, and obviously during fall ball and then the season. Hopefully he's doing all this stuff right in the direction to be successful, to make our defense be successful and him successful in the upcoming months.
Thanks, Lou.
No, thank you, Bob.
Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. What are you trying to find out about this defense throughout the spring? A lot of young and inexperience on the back end of the defense in the secondary. Just overall goals for you as a coach to figure out what your guys can do in this defense.
Okay, and what we talked about earlier is always understand our defense and also the intensity. Now we got our full pads on is proper leverage, but yet attacking the ball at the point of attack, winning your box at the point of attack, trying to push each other, and no one has a starting job is competing. So all that with the young players is look at the older guys running to the ball, how to study, how to prepare, and also how we practice, and keep on getting better, and challenge each group to be better than the last play.
And then another question from my side. It seems from the outside looking in, you may disagree, but the up front seems to be the strength of the defense, of the defensive line. You seem to have the most experience, most depth there right now. Does that make your job, or does that allow you as a defensive coordinator to do some things differently and get more creative from a coaching perspective in terms of calling plays and things of that nature?
Yeah. You guys are very observant. This is our core guys, our veteran guys, is D-line. One time, 2 years ago, they were young. Obviously now it's going on. I'm not smart, XYZ years, so this is going on. I'm joking, guys. But they are mature, and then that gives us some freedom to do stuff, with the other pieces of the puzzle, with the other 7 guys, and also with them to showcase their talents. And we can do certain stuff that they're successful through the front 4, and then it opens up other opportunities for other players on the defense.
Anybody else have anything for Lou? Sean, go ahead.
The past few weeks, a lot of the guys have said they want to make this defense more physical, more nasty, I guess. How have you seen them take those steps to becoming a more physical defense?
Well, we got someone did spotlight. I got a spotlight for everyone. I see that. All this technology, Pat. I see what you did. During individual periods, we'll always have our short pads on now. The first couple of days you couldn't now. So we're doing drills, individual drills to get our contact ready. And then we'll have periods where we're thudding, where coach, we have certain style, how we thud, but also how we take at the point, how we're taking on blocks, how we're defeating blockers, how we're breaking on the ball, how the ball carrier leverage, how we're going to wrap up. So all that stuff will build to be a physical and attacking. So we try to do each phase during the course of the practice to execute that, Sean.
Matt.
Coach, I mentioned earlier in this call that your secondary seems to be a little on the inexperienced side. Have you seen anybody so far through spring? I know it's early still, but that's really separating themselves and has made you think, wow, this guy's really put in the work and put in the effort in preparation for the spring.
Yeah, we got, a couple of players, in the corners, they're all doing a good job. I won't be specifics, but all, the young guys who came in, still learning, but, Miles Bell's doing well. Jeremy's doing well. Then, we have Stan, Cross, and Trey. They're all competing. And, each day, each one's showing their talents. And then, on the safeties, we got the young guys. We have Diamond. We got Malik. And then, we got Jalen Furl, and we got a couple other young guys too. So it's good. It's still too early to see, but they're flashing. Now, the key now is being consistent, doing each practice.
In some of the highlight packages that get put out, it seems Stan Cross has come in and had an impact. What would you say? He isn't one of these newcomers. We obviously haven't been able to see practice. So what does he bring from the corner position?
I think, he's mature. Also, attention to detail. he's winning, he's competing at his position on one-on-ones. He's competing at the ball. Yeah, he had a nice breakup the other day, like on a red zone route. So yeah, he's showing up.
Mike Crispino.
Lou, do you think you're going to be able to develop here in this spring practice the kind of defense that you want to play in the fall? Is that something that you're trying to accomplish, or are you just looking at players and personnel and talent and all that? And do you develop, your style more when you get to August?
Yeah, I think I can say that's a yes and no, meaning our identity now, we're trying to create what's going to be successful in the fall. And with the players we have, everyone's healthy. And then now we're going to evolve how the offenses each week are going to, what packages they have. Now we got the core concepts. We don't understand the concepts now, how the offense is going to try to attack us. And then from there is put our right pieces on the field to get the best 11 out there to give us an opportunity.
And just to follow up to that, defensive backs in a given formation, et cetera, with the way the game's play these days, do you see yourself using 5 and 6 DBs more and more often? That seems like what at least the pros are doing that now.
Well, also that's where your analytics come. If it's first and second down, you got a high passing, 78% passing on first and second down. Obviously, you got to get the guys that can run with them and cover. But also, like you said, it goes hand in hand. Now we got that veteran D line. We got to put on the quarterback. If the offense is trying to attack us, in the passing game, we got to make sure our D line's getting after them. Maybe also learn for the screens, revert, all that little stuff that we're going over. It's nice to have doing it in spring.
Thanks,
Matt.
Hey, Coach. You've made your name known, coaching linebackers, clearly over the course of your career. And in your first year here, you seem to be really undersized at that position. Just looking up and down the roster now, you have more prototypical linebackers. How does that help in what you want to do in your defense?
Yeah. There's always like an old cliche word where, bigger, faster, stronger, that type of deal. But in today's game, you like to have a hybrid guy where they have the length as a linebacker, and then also they have the size where they can take on blockers, but also athletic ability and speed to cover tight ends and possible, receivers. So it's nice that, we're getting these type of athletes in here. And Mike brought a good point. He's like, hey, sometimes you have 4, 5, 6 DBs, but don't forget about these linebackers. Hey, it'd be nice to have 2, 3 of them on the field too. And all depends on how everyone's competing, but it's nice to have depth at that position.
And are you seeing, just hearing you talk, it seems like this defense can be versatile. Like, so if you're going off against a spread offense or a running style offense, you can match up in different ways with the personnel you have now.
Yes. You have to evolve. Each week is a new week, at any levels, especially in collegiate level, where one week, you can face X amount of tight ends. Next week, it's all receivers. Then the following week, wishbone. And you got to focus on the task at hand, what week and how our roster is and, who's healthy and try to put our best 11 out there to do our job.